How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to another test hand video, this time around for Photon Galaxy post Master Rule 5, and of course post April 2020 ban list, and also post Duel Overload. However you want to look at it, this deck has had a lot of reasons to change due to, new product releases, things like that, as I've before mentioned. But yeah, I'm currently in the process, though, it's just an overall update for the channel of trying to roll out a lot of test hand videos for a lot of new decks. Not necessarily new decks, but decks that have been affected greatly by the release of Duel Overload, the new ban list, and of course Master Rule 5, Master Rule 2020, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be working on DDD test hands, more Mermail test hands regarding a build playing Needle Fiber and post Secret Slayers. So you guys have that to look forward to. Probably some pure Mech Knight test hands following the new ban list. And then once all those test hand videos roll out, even one for Speedroids with the release of the new Speedroid stuff in Duel Overload, I'll be following that with a string of updated deck profiles that follow along with those test hand videos that correspond with them. So this is going to be the one for Photon Galaxy. The one change within the extra deck from Duel Overload, of course, is Union Carrier. We did get this card in Duel Overload, but one card we did not get, unfortunately, was the Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon. This hopefully we'll get in the next Battles of Legends set in July or whenever that comes out. But yeah, this is a build without Afterglow, completely TCG legal once the new ban list drops. And yeah, we're going to go through and do 5 going first test hands. And before we do that, of course, I want to mention a shout out to our lovely sponsor over at Imperium Duelist, provider of this amazing playmat, the Ultimate Brawl playmat, a crossover between Yu-Gi-Oh! And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mega Man, Mario, and a few other characters as well, all taking on the giant hand, printed on this super soft King's Robe material, 2-player as I mentioned. Amazing playmat. If you guys want to pick it up, you can for 10% off using my discount code WinnerKills10off. And if you're interested in getting any of these amazing tournament-ready sleeves that don't have effects on them, 2-tone color like I'm rocking here on the main and extra deck, they're available on their site as well. And you can buy 2 and get 1 free, and also get them for 10% off, which is a massive deal. They also sell deck boxes, dice, calculator cases, and much more. So definitely check them out. And of course, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, which you might be, of course, with the release of Duel Overload, and you want to help support the channel just by shopping on TCG Player at no other cost to you, use that affiliate link down in the description below. I'll get a small bit of kickback, so don't forget to check out that link. It's in the description of all my videos. So if you want to help support the channel just through TCG Player, that is a great way to do it, and I highly recommend it if you want to help support the channel. And also, if I do this last shuffle here, if you want to become a YouTube channel member and get in on some exclusive perks and rewards, mail day posts, behind the scenes, etc., check out hitting that join button down below for more information. So let's go ahead and take a look at our opening hand here. Now, Photon Orbital, for those wondering, is the main equipped target for our Union Carrier. Since this card does have an effect while equipped, basically we can send it to the graveyard to search a Photon or a Galaxy monster. So Union Carrier could not fit better within this deck. I was also experimenting, or at least theorying in my head, trying out the Bujin link in here as well. Currently waiting on that card in the mail and still need to do some testing outside of a video, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. But for this particular hand, I think I'm going to start with the Soldier by discarding the Orbital, since we have 2 Orbitals in hand. And then we'll go ahead and use Soldier's effect here to search a Galaxy monster. Also, one thing I should note is I am playing a pot of Avarice within the main deck as well. And I'm also opting to play cards like Ghost Ogre, because that can stop the pesky Union Carrier itself on the opponent's side of the field from setting up that pivotal lock with the Buster Whelp, keeping us out of the extra deck, which can be pretty detrimental to our strategy. But as it stands, I'm going to go ahead and add a copy of Galaxy Knight, since I'm already starting to see a play here. It has actually been a little while since I've done anything Photon Galaxy related, but I hope you guys, have been patient. I appreciate the patience, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to this video, and it is everything that you were expecting it to be. So we've searched off of our Soldier. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and actually equip the Orbital, and then we'll send it off to get a search of a Photon or Galaxy monster. here I'm going to go ahead and grab the Photon Vanisher. Photon Vanisher's effect will activate to go ahead and add us a copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. And then at this point, we're going to go ahead and link off the Soldier and the Vanisher for none other than the Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon. I just completely forgot what I was going to say. But first, we'll go ahead and upstart. We draw into a Galaxy Knight, no big deal. So we're going to go ahead and link now into the Soul Flare Dragon. And now we'll use its effect here to add back this Galaxy Soldier. And now this is the main reason why I've added the Photon Dragon back to my hand, or added it off the Vanisher, so we could summon it again by discarding. We won't get the search effect here, but we can Expedition this time around into another copy of itself, and you can sort of see where this is going to go. We're going to go ahead and overlay into the Nova and then into the Infinity. Unfortunately, don't have the alternate artwork of Infinity, which I'm actually like kind of a fan of at this point in time, but the regular Infinity, of course, does the same thing, so it will suffice. And then once we've done that, we'll normal summon for turn here, and then use the effect of Night to bring back Galaxy Eyes. And we could do this play here, which is going into the number 90, just like that. And we have Galaxy Knight in hand for next turn as a bit of a follow-up. We have the opportunity to search a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon during their turn. That will do one of two things. Is give us a discard outlet for our Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon to destroy a special summon monster they control, but it will also put another Galaxy Eyes in the graveyard for next turn when we normal summon our Knight to revive back to make another rank 8 play. And of course, we have the protection from the Cyber Dragon Infinity as well. So pretty good test hand there, ending on, you know, a pretty standard board. I wanted to address an extra deck option real quick, and that is of Drag Lubion. I know that card has seen some more attention, of course, with Master Rule 5 sort of getting closer, and, you know, basically is here as we speak. That is a card I do like in here, but like the deck already pretty much accomplishes what that card accomplishes on its own. Is like getting out multiple rank 8 monsters, and, you know, just being able to swarm the field, and it does take up an extra deck slot. I think maybe once we get Afterglow, since this deck's ceiling sort of does increase a lot with Afterglow Dragon, I think at that point I could probably see myself playing a copy of Drag Lubion within the extra deck, because right now it's, for me, only going to summon out the number 38 Hope Harbinger, which really isn't like a deal breaker for me. Like, it's not enough for me to actually want to play it. I know it has other targets, like some people are trying to summon the Numeron Dragon, some people are trying to summon the C-107. There's tons of options. You could even summon a Tachyon Dragon, or number 62, I believe. But for me, I think right now with the extra deck as I run through it real quick, is pretty tight. You have the full Galaxy Eyes armor package, the Cyber Dragon Infinity package, the Blast Dragon, which I think is just a mandatory card to play. I'm still playing 2 number 90. I've always been a fan of 2 number 90. And I'm still to this day, just because you will go through multiples, and it's just like one of the best cards in your extra deck. So yeah, let's go ahead and do another test hand here. I'm just trying to get a lot of ideas out onto the table, as per se, just so I can get you guys on the same thought process that I'm on. But yeah, so here's our opening hand. We have Thrasher, Orbital, Expedition, and 2 copies of Soldier. This is another hand that we're not going to need to make Union Carrier, which is fine, but I guarantee we'll probably at least have one turn this video where we need to do that. So we'll special summon the Photon Thrasher, and then we'll equip it with Orbital, send Orbital away, and we're going to go grab a copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Or actually, we could take it a step further, and instead of getting Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon directly, we could grab it indirectly via Photon Vanisher. So we'll add Vanisher off Orbital, special Vanisher off of his own effect, use Vanisher to search a copy of Photon Dragon. Now we'll special summon Soldier by discarding the Galaxy Eyes, and then from here we'll add a copy of Galaxy Knight. Now at this point, we may not even really need to go into Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon. As crazy as that sounds, we might not need to do it, because this is Master Rule 5, of course. There are some things we could do, the first of which being to summon this Soldier by discarding the Knight. That'll make us an Infinity, and then we can link these two for a possible Soul Flare to get back the Knight that we discarded, and then we can knight into Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and then have an expedition. But we don't really need to do that. This is where if we had the Afterglow Dragon, it would be very, very helpful here, because we could get Afterglow Dragon off of Expedition and make 2 rank 8s and an Infinity with a Soul Flare. But we're not going to be able to do that this turn, unfortunately. So I think it would probably be best to link these 2 guys into a Soul Flare. Use Soul Flare's effect to add back this Galaxy Eyes, and then summon Soldier, discarding the Galaxy Eyes. Go ahead and overlay into the Nova, right into the Infinity. And then it's important that we went into the Soul Flare there, because that will allow us to get back the Soldier, and also put this Galaxy Eyes back in grave. And then from here, we'll just normal summon to revive. And again, if we did have Afterglow Dragon, we could Expedition, summon this, overlay, make Felgran, use Felgran to attach the Galaxy Eyes, summon another Galaxy Eyes over here, make a, a number 90. So we'd have Felgran number 90 Infinity. But since we do not have access to this card yet, it's going to look pretty standard to the previous board we made, which is just going to be number 90 Infinity Soul Flare. We get to keep an Expedition in our hand, which is nice, because this is just more resources to work with for next turn. And of course, during their turn, at least on the start of their turn, we're going to want to immediately go ahead and search for this number, or not number 90, but this for the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, so we can make our Soul Flare Dragon live, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the deck here, reset everything, and we'll go ahead and do another test hand. As you can see, the ceiling of the deck is a bit lowered, of course, by not having that Afterglow Dragon, unfortunately. But like I said, I'm hopeful that we'll get it in that Battles of Legends set. I think it would make sense to put it in there. But I mean, if it doesn't, I'll be surprised. I can go ahead and just on the record and say that. I think we'll get it in the Battles of Legends set. You can quote me on that, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle here, and we'll go ahead and do another test hand. Alright, so I'm done shuffling here, and I basically wanted to really quickly explain the reasoning behind the Pot of Avarice within the main deck. As you can see with that, at least the last 2 test hands, we did not end with a fully loaded graveyard. I don't think even enough to make live the Avarice, but Avarice, I feel like, can be a very, very potent card within this deck, just because, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, the role that it serves within this deck being a major engine requirement, and also being to be able to recycle a lot of very powerful search cards and things like that, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a better Galaxy Cleric at this point. Obviously, Cleric is searchable, but Pot of Avarice doesn't take up your normal summon like Cleric would. So that's just sort of my stance on that. And also, Avarice is a card I might also try to experiment in Pure Mech Knight too, so I'm not entirely sure. But with this hand, it's pretty standard. We have a Vanisher in our hand, so we want to get this Thrasher on board as quickly as possible. So we're going to go ahead and special summon the Vanisher right afterwards, and then, of course, using his effect to go ahead and search none other than Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Now, this hand looks pretty rough. You'd be right to say that, but I still think we can make a play here 100%, strictly because we play that pivotal Starliege Photon Blast Dragon within our extra deck, because we are smart Photon Galaxy players. Yes, you could play Starliege Lord Galaxian, but this card does the same thing. And the way I look at it, if any point in this deck you're going into a rank 4, it means you're summoning Photon Vanisher, which means you're getting Galaxy Eyes to your hand, and if you're not, it means you already have all 3 in your hand, and your hand is really bad. But yeah, if you're making a rank 4, you're getting Galaxy Eyes to your hand in some way, shape, or form, because you're resolving a Vanisher, and that means you're making this card, and this card is always going to be able to summon a Photon monster from hand, which is going to summon Galaxy Eyes. So the fact that Galaxian can summon one from deck doesn't really sway my opinion any bit on like his value in the extra deck. This card is just better, and it also offers really good protection. So, of course, on summon, we will use this effect to summon a Photon from hand, which is going to summon the Galaxy Eyes. And importantly, that is going to allow us to link here into a couple options. We could either go into Soul Flare, or we could go into Union Chief. And actually, hold up, let me rewind. Speaking of Union Chief, we could even go so far as to stop right here. We have 2 branching paths that we could take this play down, and I do want to take a moment to sort of dissect that. So the first play looks like this, where we overlay these two for Blast Dragon. This summons this from hand. We link these two for Soul Flare. Soul Flare adds back either the Blast Dragon for a next turn or a future turn, or adds back the Vanisher itself. And that leaves us, the ability to make our Galaxy Trance live to go ahead and summon, a rank 8 like number 90. Or we can, instead of going into the Blast Dragon, which won't summon this at this point, we can link these two into Union Carrier. Union Carrier targets itself, grabs Orbital. Orbital equips itself, sends it off to grab Soldier. Soldier summons itself by discarding Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon. And that gets us Knight, normal Knight, make it rank 8, and call from there. So I mean, both plays at this point are ending essentially on the same thing. But this play with the Blast Dragon, I believe, will end us on an additional interruption, because we'll actually have Soul Flare, and we can't link off Union Carrier the turn that it is summoned. And we cannot use Trance that turn, because the turn we use Trance, you cannot normal or special monsters during the turn you activate this card except Photon or Galaxy monster. So it has to be one or the other. So I think in this case, as much as I do like Union Carrier, I think it's better to go for Blast Dragon. And we'll go ahead and summon it off the Blast Dragon, linking these two away for this. We'll activate his effect here to add back Blast Dragon to the... no, we'll not add back Blast Dragon. We'll add back Vanisher for a future turn. Then we'll go ahead and Trance. We'll pay 2k. And we'll go ahead and summon out Brave from our deck, targeting a Photon monster in a grave, and special both it and one Galaxy monster from our deck with the same level. So we'll summon out Brave. And at this point, we cannot go into Union Carrier because of the restrictions placed upon us by Trance. But that is fine, because we're going to go into the Photon Lord. We have Tachyon Transmigration set, which is fantastic. And we also have the Soul Flare Dragon live with that extra copy of Galaxy Eyes in our hand. So with this board, during their draw phase, we can use the search effect here to go ahead and grab, I would say at this point, grabbing Galaxy Soldier would be good, because during our turn, next turn, assuming that most of our board will still be intact, we'll special summon this, search Galaxy Eyes, summon Soldier, etc., etc., because this Galaxy Eyes probably won't be in our hand by the end of the turn, because we're going to be discarding it for Soul Flare. But we have an interruption here, we have an interruption here, and we have an interruption here. So a seemingly not great hand turns into a 3 interruptions, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the deck here, and we'll go ahead and do another test hand. Alright, so the deck has been shuffled. Of course, we'll give the deck a cut, and we'll draw into our 4th test hand here for this video, opening that Photon Sanctuary. That's what I like to see. This hand looking pretty darn good. So this right here is a 1-card Union Carrier. So I think that is probably exactly what we're going to do, is we're going to Photon Sanctuary. We'll summon out 2 tokens. I'll just use these 2 Afterglow Dragons as our tokens, and then we'll link those off. Feels bad, man. And summon out Union Carrier. And then we'll use Union Carrier's effect to target himself. That way we can equip a light or a machine from our deck. So we'll equip the Orbital, and then we'll use Orbital's effect to send it off to go ahead and search a Photon or Galaxy monster. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and search here. If we had another Photon or Galaxy monster on board already, this play would be really, really good. Because we could search Soldier off this and then special this and grab Galaxy Eyes, and, we're pretty much good from there. But at this point, I think I'm just going to go ahead and search Soldier. And we have the Wizard in our hand, which is just discard fodder at this point, in my opinion. Because I want to save our normal summon for the Galaxy Knight. So now we'll special summon the Soldier, discarding the Wizard. We'll use Soldier's effect here to go ahead and add a copy of itself, if I can find it. And then we'll special summon Vanisher, and that will add a copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Just trying to deck thin as much as possible. And then we're going to try to Desires later on to try to draw into Transmigrations or Hand Traps via Ghost Ogre. So yeah, let's go ahead and from here, special summon this by discarding this. No effect, of course. And then we will go ahead and Ixie summon into the Infinity. We can use Infinity's effect here to absorb this. That way our extra monster zone is cleared if we wanted to make a Soul Flare Dragon later on. But here we'll go ahead and use the Pot of Desires, and we'll banish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10. And we'll draw into 2 more cards, and we'll see what we banished first. Avarice, Upstart, Rhoda. We banished Thrasher, 2 Trade-ins. Not too bad. Not too bad. We didn't banish too many pivotal pieces. And off that, we pick up an Expedition and another Sanctuary, which is actually really good. Since Sanctuary is not a once per turn, we can use that just to go ahead and make another Soul Flare. But first I'm going to go ahead and summon out Knight, and that will revive the Photon Dragon. Now again, if we had the Afterglow Dragon here, we could make a pretty insane board, because we would Expedition for Afterglow Dragon right now, overlay these two for Felgran, detach Afterglow for Felgran, Felgran target Vanisher itself, and then Afterglow would summon another Galaxy Eyes over here. We'd make the number 90, and we're just in a really, really good position at that point. But again, we're going to make do without the Afterglow just fine, I can assure you. So we can use the Expedition here to go ahead and summon. Actually, what we'll do is this. We'll link these two off for Soul Flare. Soul Flare will add this back, and then we'll Expedition on our Knight here to summon out another Galaxy Eyes. So doing that will allow us to, get a Galaxy Eyes back to our hand, keep our Sanctuary for next turn, and also giving us the opportunity to make number 90 still, in sort of a, I think, more resource-friendly way. So during their turn, of course, we'll use the effect of number 90 to be able to search any Photon or Galaxy card within our deck. Yeah, any Photon or Galaxy card. We're going to ditch this during their turn. So one thing we possibly could grab is a copy of Galaxy Trance, because that could easily help finish off the game next turn. Because, for the most part, we're going to be discarding this to destroy a card, so that makes this live. And then next turn, we can easily go into the Big Daddy 62 and try to punch for a lot of damage. So yeah, pretty good turn there. Opening that Photon Sanctuary easily allowed us to get into Union Carrier, which gave us an additional extender to work with to make a pretty good board. And again, you could see there, even if we also had the Afterglow Dragon, man, that hand just gets way better, like leaps and bounds better. That's why I'm just really hopeful that we do get it. Like I've said, probably for the 15th time, that we do get it in the Battles of Legends set. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle a little bit more here, and we'll go ahead and do one more test hand for this Photon Galaxy video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment on any ideas you may have had, or any questions. Of course, I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And yeah, don't forget, of course, to check out Imperium Duelist and my affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description below as well. Alright, so just finishing up shuffling here, we're going to go ahead and do our last test hand like I said. Hopefully we can end on a pretty solid board. It's been pretty good for this whole video so far, so hopefully that trend will continue. Drawing 2 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons, Desires as our 3rd, Ghost Ogre as our 4th, and our 5th and final card for this hand is copy of Photon Thrasher. So let's just burn the Desires right away, and let's see if this is even gonna be worth it all in the end. And we draw into Expedition and a copy of Orbital. Okay, that saved it right there. That was pretty grim to start. Trade-in's card I would have loved to see with this hand, but that Pot of Avarice getting banished again, Monster Reborn along with it, and 1 copy of Soldier. That is fine. We still have plenty of stuff to work with. Let's put that Desires into the graveyard where it should be. And now we'll start by special summoning the Thrasher, then going ahead and equipping it with the Orbital, sending that off to go ahead and grab a copy of Galaxy Soldier. And then it's pretty much business as usual at this point. We'll special summon the Soldier by discarding a copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. We use Soldier's effect here to search a Galaxy monster. It's going to be none other than Galaxy Knight. Now at this point, the play is pretty standard. One thing we could do if you wanted to save the Expedition for next turn, because we don't need to burn the Expedition, is we could link these two off for Soul Flare, add back Soldier, and then pitch. No, we'd still have to use Expedition either way. But as it stands, because I want to make sure that we can get our Soul Flare on board with a proper add back. So yeah, let's go ahead and link these two for Soul Flare. Soul Flare will add back the Soldier. Soldier will summon itself by pitching this Galaxy Eyes. And then from there, we'll follow up with the Expedition, and that's going to go ahead and summon out the other Soldier from the deck. I was trying to think of a way there for a moment, if there would have been a way to keep that Galaxy Eyes in our hand. Just so we don't have to use our search during our opponent's turn for a copy of Galaxy Eyes to make our Soul Flare live, but I don't think there's a way that we could have done that, but either way, regardless, we still end on a pretty solid board, and we also get to keep the Ghost Ogre in hand, which is fine. Yes, we could have discarded this off of the Soldier, but keeping a little extra in your hand I think is alright. And then during their turn, we can use the effect of the number 90 to search another copy of Galaxy Eyes, of course, to have essentially with this hand 4 interruptions. A monster negate here. This card also cannot be destroyed by card effects. A Omni negate here. A destruction of a special summon monster here, and basically the Ghost Ogre to remove any card that tries to activate an effect on the board. So yeah, I think that is going to do it for that test hand, and with that, I think that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something. Like I said, if you have any questions about this deck, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and again, I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. I think this deck sits at a pretty good spot for this format. I think this deck is a very, very good underrated deck, especially in Master Rule 5, and especially with the cards we've gotten to work with from Duel Overload. Especially, I mean, Union Carrier mainly, but I mean, once we get Afterglow Dragon, I could see this deck easily being, in my personal, biased opinion, I guess, but maybe tier 2, which, I mean, this deck is really good. I just have yet to take this deck to a competitive event. Obviously, won't be doing that anytime soon because of recent events, but hopefully, once things clear up, I will take this deck to a locals or two, and just see how it performs, and get back to you guys on that. But I'm going to be filming a deck profile for this too, so if you guys want to see a deck profile, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, Winter Killed signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.